Welcome one and all to the Cine Geeks podcast, where movies, TV, and all things geek collide. I'm Angela, still joined by my co-host, Roy.
What's up, everyone? Hello.
Hey!
Hello. hello.
For today's episode, we're going to talk about the following new releases already out now. Inside Out 2 from Disney Pixar, directed by Kelsey Mann, written by Meg LeFauve and Dave Hosteen, from a story by LeFauve and Mann, starring an ensemble cast led by Amy Poehler and Maya Hawke. And of course, Hitman from Netflix, directed by Richard Linklater, written by Linklater and Glenn Powell, based on the 2001 Texas Monthly Magazine article of the same name by Skip Hollandsworth, starring Powell and Adria Arjona. Ayan.
Yes. Two much anticipated releases that actually the second one, Hitman, came out last week. Pagka-release natin ng ating previous episode.
Yeah, last Friday.
So hindi na natin siya napag-usapan. Pero Inside Out is still very much fresh, and actually a lot of people have already seen it.
Yeah.
We're gonna touch base on that maya-maya. Pero before we continue, we would like to just take this time to remind everyone, please, who hasn't done so, to follow our pod wherever you listen to podcasts, like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. We're seeing on our metrics, and we love that a lot of you are listening to our Cine Geek conversations, pero we see that hindi masyadong madami ang naka-follow or naka-subscribe doon sa show.
That's true.
So we don't want you missing out on the latest episode. We don't just want you to hear what we have to say, but we also want to hear what you have to say about the movies that we are talking about.
Exactly. And also set your players to automatically download our new episodes so you don't miss out on our fun Cine Geek conversations. Please don't forget to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook Threads, and X, aka Twitter, so you can join in on the fun. Also visit our website, www.cinegeekspod.com, for the latest in movie and TV news and reviews.
By the way, we just want to also let everybody know that we recently launched our new Facebook group. Yes, called the Cine Geeks PHHQ. Okay? Stuff, or we have been posting regularly ever since we created it a few days ago. So this is June 14. So few days pa lang siya old.
Yeah.
But we're appreciative of the interaction that we're having with everyone of you that is a part of the group. Also, we hope to have contests in the future for swag.
Yeah, so watch out for that.
And hopefully mga advanced screening passes from our studio friends.
Yeah, so many exciting things.
So search for the group on Facebook again. That's Cine Geeks PHHQ.
And we'll also be including a link in the show notes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tama. Thank you.
Okay. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about Hitman. A professor moonlighting as a fake hitman of sorts for his city police department descends into dangerous, dubious territory when he finds himself attracted to a woman who enlists his services.
Okay.
Interesting
Very,
romantic angle.
Very intriguing angle
Yeah.
for Hitman.
And of course, we are big fans of Glenn Powell ever since, well, Top Gun.
Top Gun Maverick. Actually, ano siya nakakatawa kasi we've been seeing him for so long. Actually, ito, lalabas yung edad natin dito. Okay? First movie that he ever starred in, Spy Kids 3D,
Oh
Game
my God.
Over. Ko, tandang-tanda ko yan dati na ang tawag dito. Weeks ahead pa lang, bumili na kami ng ticket. Tapos namimigay sila ng mga 3D glasses na red and blue.
Wow, yung red and blue
Red
3D
and blue
glasses pa.
Red and blue. Yes. And of course, ano siya, he's been this actor na you know his face, but hindi mo maano yung pangalan niya eh.
Meron parang ganun eh. May isang actor si taga-Disney din siya. Yung leading man ni Miley Cyrus sa
Di ba
Hannah
si-
Montana the movie.
Di ba si MacGyver?
Yun siya.
Lucas Till.
Lucas Till, yun.
Tama.
Parang around the same age as Glenn Powell yun eh, di ba? So mga ka-age natin na he's everywhere. Parang you've seen him in a lot of kid movies. Tapos hanggang sa, uy, matanda ka na pala, no? Nga pala matanda na pala tayo.
Oo nga. Matanda na pala tayo.
Pero yan, parang ano ko sila eh, na mistake ko si Lucas Till to Glenn Powell and vice versa.
Kasi pala sila ng peg eh. And I won't be surprised if eventually malaman natin na they're fighting for the same roles. Na yun naman usually nababalita eh, pag magkapeg kayo.
Yes. Anyway, let's go back
sorry, nandito
to
tayo. Anyway,
Glenn Powell first.
Sige.
Yon. So, since Top Gun and of course, yung this early 2024 release, Anyone But You,
Yes.
parang he's been making waves in the industry and for the right reasons.
Oo. Kasi alam mo yung sobrang niyang cliche sabihin, pero meron siya nung leading man energy na sobrang rare makita in Hollywood these days, especially since we're so inundated with the parang casting based on characters and IP instead of movie stars matching with the right project.
Yeah.
So it's heartening to see that it's making a resurgence. It's having a renaissance, yung ganong klaseng aspeto ng parang matching movie stars with roles and not roles with actors.
Yes.
Kasi napaka-diverse nitong filmography niya. Kasi tinan mo, may Top Gun siya. Tapos bigla siya mag-Hitman. Tapos may Anyone But You. Tapos later this year, meron siyang Twisters.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that.
Diba? And then, parang, I don't know how I forgot this, pero isa siya dun sa mga astronaut sa Hidden Figures.
Oh?
Si John Glenn. Diba? So,
John Glenn Powell.
So, gabi yung versatility niya. And even yung kanyang parang dinadalang leading man charisma for this role. Tanungin lang kita before we get to the meat of the movie itself. Kasi this comparison has been on everyone's minds since that movie came out a couple of years ago.
Okay.
Na, of course, we're talking about the movie star, Tom Cruise, na talagang pag siya yung sinabi mong the movie star, his name sells movies.
One of the last remaining movie stars.
True movie stars, yes. Do you think that Glenn Powell has the potential to become not the next Tom Cruise, ayaw natin gawin ganun na, but he can be on the same stratosphere as Cruise, yung career niya?
Well, if he keeps making those smart decisions when it comes to roles, kasi I appreciate what he said during his press junket sa Anyone But You. He said na why are rom-coms being looked down upon? Na parang they are feel-good movies that doesn't make you always think, or parang it's a relaxed time at the movies.
Yes.
And just because you're making rom-coms does not mean parang they are lesser roles, parang ganon.
True.
Parang you don't have to take Oscar bait roles all the time, yung sobrang talagang mga heavy themes like racism and war and yung mga ganong tema. Kumbaga pinaglalaban niya yung yung rom-coms.
At saka yung parang old school movie-going experience na you don't always have to parang leave the cinema with a profound, renewed worldview ba? Parang let's just be entertained.
Hindi naman palagi kang existential.
And don't get us wrong. Kasi, yes, we say na watching Anyone But You was a light and breezy experience. Pero we'd be remiss to say, or not to say, whatever, na it was, if it wasn't parang one of the best written films of this year. Kasi it's a loose adaptation. Or parang based on, parang siyang inspired yon, tama. Inspired siya by Much Ado About Nothing by William Shakespeare. And yun nga nag-translate yung smartness and yung wit nung text ni Bard for the 21st century. Doon sa ginawa nilang parang pag-adapt or pagiging inspired ng kwento.
Yeah.
Nung Anyone But You. But yeah, let's
let's go over now
to Hitman. Yes. Again, we've been looking forward to this since last year.
Yes. from the trailer itself.
Oh, and ever since it was announced na buzzy siya sa mga film festivals.
Also, co-written by Glenn Powell. So that kind of intrigued me, which is why I asked you first about Glenn Powell. I wanted to talk about Glenn Powell first kasi he really is hitman. Parang you're selling this movie solely on Glenn Powell's charm. Ayan, so let's get into it. What did you think of Hitman, Roy?
I liked it a lot. Okay? I didn't love it. And I'll get the reasons why maya-mayang konti.
Okay.
Pero first of all, I liked how, again, effortlessly effervescent yung charm niya.
Try saying that 5 times.
Ayun, mamaya. Sobrang effortless ng pagiging charming niya talaga. And grabe yung sinabi natin to habang pinapanood natin yung movie na kahit kanino mo siya ipares, kaya niyang mag-create ng chemistry out of nowhere.
Yeah.
He can even have chemistry with a chair for all we know. And mabibenta niya na in love siya dun sa chair or in love yung chair sa kanya. Grabe yung napaka-rare nun in Hollywood these days, seeing leading man quality that doesn't rely on pre-existing knowledge of a character. Again,
True.
Hindi to patama dun sa mga IP-driven na mga sine or TV shows. Pero kasi lately, past few years, meaning, we've seen a glut of casting, although sabi natin tama na casting, na yung bagay siya para dun sa role. That's one big example is Chris Evans as Captain America. Before Captain America, nobody knew Chris Evans. Okay? Kay Evans lang. Kasi, pag siya lumalabas siya as Captain America, sobrang successful ng mga sine niya. Pero, outside of the MCU, what movie of his has actually been successful?
So that's the criteria.
Yun, kasi yun na nga Parang, we know Chris Evans and his success is based off of Captain America. Pero, Glenn Powell has had these, so far, a handful of memorable roles sa Top Gun. Tapos, sa Anyone But You. Tapos dito.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that Twisters will eventually be an iconic role for him as well.
Okay.
Yun. Kita mong people will eventually flock to a movie because of his name. Not because they know that, hey, si Captain America yun. Yun yung problem dun
True.
And I'm glad to see na he is, again, resurrecting the concept of the movie star. Na we go to movies because we trust in their taste and their judgment in selecting roles. And parang si Tom Hanks ba? Diba? When we watch a Tom Hanks movie, we're 70% sure na it's a good one.
Because of his track record.
So, I'm happy that Glenn is on that track, on that path so far. Pero as far as the movie is concerned, medyo nakulangan ako doon sa script itself, especially doon sa parang resolution niya of the whole shebang.
Yes.
Kasi sobrang intriguing na nung point
Ang ganda ng premise no?
Ang ganda ng premise, oo. And parang for a Linklater movie, I've never seen him create something this parang wacky.
Oo nga.
Parang ang Kane
Di ba siya si Boyhood?
Boyhood, yan, exactly. And yung Before trilogy.
Parang ito pa lang yung nakita ko na parang hindi coming of age or parang romance.
Romance. Pero hindi sobrang focused on the romance. Tama.
Blended into the story lang yung romance. Pero it's not really what I would call a romantic film because it's not. It's a lot more than that. There's this crime angle. Ano nga parang I feel like this would be better as a TV show kasi para siyang case of the week kind of thing. Kasi Retta is here, Donna from Parks and Recreation, and Dupinder
sa Deadpool.
Yeah. So, you have these funny na kabanter niya na supporting cast dun sa team niya, dun sa police station. So, it can be parang psych, yung ganon. Kasi di ba consultant lang siya dun sa police department. And then, every case, iba-iba yung character na tinitake on niya. So, parang it can work as a TV show, as a series.
May nag-guest sa natin.
Garfield is saying he liked it din.
Gusto niya, yes. Sabi ni Garfield, I like Glenn Powell. Masabi ko lang, sorry, mabilis lang.
Okay.
Sabi mo, part ng movie si Retta, Donna, for you Parks and Rec heads out there. May isang linya dito na napapost mo na ako sa inyo kasi tawa ako ng tawa. Ang pangalan kasi dito is, ni Glenn, is si Gary Johnson. Yun yung kanyang real name niya.
Yeah.
Okay. Pero yung isa dun sa mga alias na ginagamit niya is Ron. So parang natuwa ako doon sinabi ni Retta na parang parang something to the effect of
Ron is the shit.
Ron is sexy name. Parang ganon.
Yeah, Ron Swanson supremacy.
Yeah, yun lang. Anyway.
Wink to all Parks and Rec fans.
True. Hindi ako, yung Boyhood pa lang yung alam kong pinanood natin noon na talagang, hindi naman, ayoko naman sabihin na pangit siyang sine. It's a movie in a class of its own. And parang Linklater, kasi he's known for making these introspective movies about, na merong sobrang malaman na mga conversations.
Profound
Conversational films.
Yeah.
Marami ditong mga sequences na puro usap lang. Tanungin kita, okay? Kasi there are two other writers or writer-directors that come into mind with that specific kind of parang MO, kumbaga, sa script nila.
Okay.
When comparing Linklater's movies to, let's say, Aaron Sorkin and Quentin Tarantino, two other creatives na sobrang reliant on conversations and it being parang lyrical and parang mano sa tenga, how would you place Linklater in terms of yung sa kanyang parang yung mga scene niya?
Excluding this one.
Actually, including this one kasi the sequence I'm talking about is yung sa start ng film, nung parang kinakausap niya yung una niyang target ni Gary.
Okay.
Na ang haba, parang mga 5-6 minutes yung usapan nila. And it's just them talking. Walang background music, wala.
Yes.
Yun. Pero I'm asking you this, why? Kung ano yung parang pag ipi-place mo siya sa kanya. Kasi mamaya, I'm gonna tell you then kung paano ko siya ipi-place din si Linklater against those two or i-compare.
Okay.
Ikaw.
Linklater for me is the more profound yet simple philosophies in life. Coming of age or parang a long-term relationship. It's very subdued and understated when it comes to Linklater. Si Aaron Sorkin kasi is very balagtasan, parang kang nasa teatro, ganon. Feels a lot like a stage play.
True.
And then the third one, being Tarantino, is parang more on shock value and sobrang edgy screenplay and script na to the point na parang you are taken aback by how unpredictable the next lines would be.
Okay.
And the next events. Napaka out of left field palagi kapag si Tarantino. And very gutsy nung kanya. Napaka unhinged and sobrang tapang. Brutally frank. Ganon. So yon, parang si Linklater para sa akin yung pinaka-tame.
Parang napaka-slice of life niyang magsulat.
Oo, parang yung indie na feel.
Yan.
Very introspective nga, subdued, understated, quiet, profound realizations in life. Parang reflections and meditative. That's how I would describe his movies. Outside from this one. Kasi parang ito mako-compare ko siya kay Ridley Scott Napoleon. Parang ganun, napaka out of character bigla. Well, napaka-random nitong movie na to nung latest outing dun sa previous track record nila.
Well, I guess can attribute that aspect of the film. Yung sinasabi natin parang yung wacky, zany energy niya. Dun sa parts na sinulat with Glenn Powell. Kasi, ito yung part na sinasabi ko na medyo napaisip akong immediately of the comparison between the three of them. The three parang screenwriters I know that are heavily reliant on dialogue-driven films or TV shows, whatever.
Yeah.
Kasi dun sa unang part, yung first conversation nga that I was referring to earlier, personally and Linklater fans, my apologies in advance. For me, ang hinahanap ko sa film when listening to the dialogue is yung may konting flash, yung may konting pizzazz, may zingers ng konti. Na yung ramdam mo yung energy nung balitaktakan.
Parang may tension ng
Parang
konti.
may tension ng konti. May energy na nagbabubble from how many or so people yung nag-uusap on screen at any one time.
Okay.
Kaya yung doon sa yung first conversation na yun, buti na nga lang na the energy went up from there. So I appreciate that. Pero being na yun yung unang-una na parang introduction natin to what Gary does and what Gary will do for the rest of the film. Medyo parang ang limp nung kanyang intro doon na sana nag-inject ng konting buhay doon sa doon sa parang pag-uusap nila na yon.
Konting impact. Parang wow factor.
Parang
ganon.
yung kung paano yung usapan ni Hans Landa at saka nung tatay doon sa simula ng Inglourious Bastards.
That's how you open.
Yun talagang masterclass in introducing a character. Wala tayong alam sa kanya at all. Pero based doon sa dialogue niya, inflection, intonation, everything, the delivery, alam mo na agad na, okay, this is not a man that we F with. Diba? Ito dito kasi parang medyo dinadaan doon sa sinasabi na yung profundity is that a word? Profoundness.
Profoundation day.
Yung pagiging profound ng characters is coming from the words. We're not seeing it from the character.
Maybe I feel like what you're trying to say is napaka literal niya in the aspect of the story. Walang subtext. Yung exchange nila.
Yun.
Na parang we could have some hints to his character or to his thought process from the way he says things.
Kung paano
parang ganon.
Even if parang ang pagkakasabi niya or quote-unquote kilala natin sa kanya during that scene is he is pretending to be somebody else. Pero yun na nga that is going to be the crux of the film. Na him pretending to be all of these different people. Medyo doon sa introduction niya I could have gotten more.
True.
Doon sa yung delivery ganon. Although sobrang grabe yung delivery, yung parang command niya nung scene. Pero there's something about it that just didn't feel impactful right off the gate.
Yeah, I get that. You know why? I think dahil kaka-introduce pa lang sa atin ni Gary Johnson.
Okay.
We want to see who Gary Johnson is first.
True.
And then, saka mo makikita yung pag-flip niya ng Gary Johnson into something entirely and completely different.
I get that. Sige.
So, parang gusto muna nating makita, di ba? Parang ang bilis pa lang nating nakita si Gary Johnson na how he carries himself, his posture, his parang inflection with the way he talks. Tapos, alam mo yun, we want to be able to see him muna as himself first bago mo siya i-flip into this parang grifter na character na bigla na lang nagtatransform into another person. Yeah, ganon. Maybe masyadong rushed yung introduction or hindi lang talaga nila masyadong binigyan pa ng konting kick.
Yun. Kasi parang I was looking for siguro something to hook me agad. Na parang ito, na pinili na natin siyang panoorin because again, it's Glenn Powell. So you got my left foot in the door na. Siguro I was looking for something to get my other foot inside the door pa to be sold. And eventually the movie does give us something to Pero yun na nga parang we gave this movie a chance because we really wanted to see the whole thing. Paano kung halimbawa maraming mga ibang nanonood na dun pa lang sa usapan na yun mag-turn off na dun sa film. Especially since this is on Netflix.
I mean, it was still funny, pero medyo hinahanap kasi natin since this is the theme or the genre of the movie. Pala automatic ang gusto nating makita is yung mga Tarantisms.
Yeah.
Kasi, pero unfair naman yung i-ask from Linklater because he's an entirely different director. He has a different style.
Pero kasi yun yung subject matter niya It's about a guy pretending to be a hitman who is suddenly hired to be a real hitman. So, tama ka that concept lends itself to so many Tarantisms agad-agad. Tama, di ba?
Di ba? So, parang that's where our mind automatically goes. But it's unfair to Linklater to, give him that kind of pressure na just because we expect Tarantisms. Syempre, signature pa rin ni Linklater yung subdued, di ba nga?
Malumanay na usapan.
I appreciate naman that we touched upon the concept of super ego and id. Kasi parang yun yung gusto niyong sabihin. Although,
sige. Let's transition over into that na. And yung sa start yun na nga, sabi natin na medyo could have used a bit more punch. Yung pagsimula ng sine. Eventually, the movie does find its footing.
Yeah.
Okay, don't get us wrong, it does. in a very good way actually.
Sensible way.
Sensible way din siya. And
Sensible does not always mean exciting, pero at least it makes sense.
Oo. Well, true. Pero yun na nga, yun. Eventually nga, kasi he's a psychology professor ba? Tama?
Philosophy yata.
Philosophy professor, si Gary Johnson in the movie. And tama yun na yung naging focus ng film is parang the identity that we have versus the identity we create for ourselves.
Yes.
Yan. So
Yun yung
parang
thesis statement talaga.
Yung sine, oo. And yun nga, nakakatuwa na meron nga yung mga pusa. Si Gary, na pangalan si Id at saka si Super Ego.
Oo.
Ba yun?
Which means he is ego.
He's the ego. Oh, yan. So yun yung ano niya. Ano yung sabi na Id is your wants, your subconscious wants and desires. And your super ego is parang the one, your sensible self, parang preventing you from doing weird shit. Tama ba? Or baliktad ba ako?
Wait.
Sige.
Id is the primitive, impulsive part of our psyche. Okay? Ego is the rational,
Tama. So tama. Yan. Okay.
rational conscious side.
Tama. Okay, yan. So yan. So morality basically, si super ego. And si id yung parang...
Moral component of the psyche is the super ego.
Yes. So, in terms of how the movie meditates on this, I think it did a great job naman. Yun, doon naman pumasok yung strength nung pagiging subdued nung
Anong profoundness ni Linklater?
Oo. Kasi, eventually, nagkaroon siya ng parang yung moral dilemma niya na parang, wait, okay, I'm just pretending to do this, pero now I have this woman who essentially actually needs what I'm pretending to do.
It's funny nga kasi, again, we found a common theme in our two movies that we are discussing in this episode. It's about identity. Diba?
Yeah.
It's about your sense of self.
That's
so,
true.
In its philosophical sense, satisfying yung story na ginawa ni Linklater.
Uh-huh.
I just don't think that romance and comedy is his strong suit.
Sino?
Linklater.
Romance and comedy. Romance ang before trilogy.
Yun nga. Yung comedy side siguro.
Well.
Although I think yung comedy side parang mas more galing kay Glenn Powell yon. Kasi he's the he's the protagonist.
Well, siguro not to say na yung comedy kasi siya din yung School of Rock eh. So isa sa mga classic comedies yan. I'm guessing siguro what we're trying to say here is yung pag dumalabas siya dun sa darkness ng tao. Kasi pag tinignan mo yung sa filmography ni Richard Linklater is very, very parang, are we good people? Parang, what does it mean to live life? Parang, what does life have in store for us? Especially, Boyhood. Isa sa mga pinaka-ano niya, well-known niyang gawa na parang talagang sinundan niya yung buhay nung bata growing up.
Shucks.
And of course, yung before trilogy, yung ligawan, yung pagiging sila, tsaka yung married life nung si Ethan Hawke tsaka si Julie Delpy.
Yeah.
Pero, yun na nga there are films that are tailor-made for parang specific kinds of creatives. And I don't think na a very dark, very, very dark parang subject matter brings out the best in Richard Linklater.
True.
Yun.
Yeah. Siguro yun yung hinahanap natin kasi usually sa mga gantong genre movies, yun nga, we expect tarantisms and there is darkness in his comedy.
Oo.
Meron siyang irreverent type of...
Oo. Kasi alam mo ito, parang kung masasabi natin in terms of comedy na kay Quentin Tarantino, siya yung comedy na parang may sungay eh. Yung parang may knowing evil grin eh.
Yeah.
Yung mga comedy kasi ni Linklater is all about growing up. It's the ups and downs, the highs and lows of finding out who you are. And it's very appropriate dito sa Hitman kasi part of the film is Gary Johnson finding out who he really is. Pero kasi, kailangan balansehin nung sine yung who Gary Johnson is versus the darkly comic subject matter of him pretending to be a hitman.
Because it does get dark.
Hindi
diba?
na pwede kalimutan yun eh. Kasi yun yung quote-unquote parang kwento ng buhay nung subject matter natin. So, bakit natin, hindi natin pwede i-forsake yung one aspect of his life para lang mag-focus dun sa mas quote-unquote meatier aspect ng sine.
Yeah.
So, we're seeing na this film has 97% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Audience score?
Hindi, critic score.
Wow.
And 8.1 on Metacritic. So,
impressive.
Parang, to be honest, sa akin, Parang saan banda?
Parang na-carry lang talaga ni Glenn Powell.
And dun
Yung charisma niya.
Yun, and doon tayo babalik sa ating original thesis statement na kung bakit successful tong scene to.
Yeah.
This movie lives and dies on
With
the
Glenn
shoulders
Powell.
of Glenn Powell. Yes.
True.
Kasi doon naman sa yung chemistry nila ni Adria Arjona.
Adria or Adria?
Adria Arjona. Sorry if I pronounced that incorrectly. Siyempre, yun na nga eh. Hindi pwedeng one-sided ang chemistry. Hindi pwedeng parang Brad Pitt na you just make the ladies swoon. Dapat you're going to have to make the lady killer swoon as well.
Yeah.
So, Adria ably matches him naman in that aspect.
Yeah.
And actually, I actually liked her performance here kasi parang siya na lang yung nagko-contribute doon sa darkly comic aspect nitong sine. Yun. Siya yung source nung darkness in the story eh.
Yeah. I appreciate that.
Oo.
Kasi Glenn Powell's character is about his self-discovery eh. And she is the one who has a definite sense of self.
True.
So, siya yung talagang fixed na character. Fixed point siya. And then, parang how does Glenn Powell navigate?
Her orbit. And kudos to them kasi they are able to, parang naitawid nila yung movie through the parts na medyo namamatay yung propulsive energy niya.
Yeah. Character-driven siya, not really story-driven. So, I think the high scores is reflective of the performances.
Kasi, if we're gonna talk about the story itself, it's enjoyable. You can, it's one of the better offerings on Netflix talaga. And we're not just saying that just because.
It's funny din naman.
It's funny, pero the movie, the way the story ends, left us parang scratching our heads. Kasi parang, okay, we're building up to this climax. And then, the movie just sort of ends. Talaga.
Yeah. I agree. Oo nga, parang rushed din. Bigla na lang siyang natapos.
Tapos, yung ending niya, parang, I think in 2001, when the original parang source material was written, it could have worked back then. Pero the way that the story ended, parang, I don't think that can happen in 2024.
Yeah.
Especially given what they did.
Oo nga.
So no spoilers. You just have to watch that out. Watch this for yourselves.
Yeah.
We still recommend it. If only for the star power.
Glenn Powell is great in this movie. And I am excited sa mga susunod niyang roles because it can only get better from here.
Oo. Actually, excited na talaga ako din para sa twisters.
Yeah. So, any final thoughts on Hitman?
Yeah, I mean, go see this for Glenn Powell. Period. Yeah, and we're giving this a B+. Solid B+. Netflix Hitman is now out on Netflix on streaming.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess that's it for Hitman.
Yeah, let us know what you think. I'm gonna make a discussion post on our Facebook group.
Okay.
And tell us what you thought of the movie after you've seen it. Okay. Let's now go over to the second film we'll be talking about today, Inside Out 2. Teenage Riley's mind headquarters is undergoing a sudden demolition to make room for something entirely unexpected. New emotions, joy, sadness, anger, fear, and disgust, who've long been running a successful operation by all accounts, aren't sure how to feel when anxiety shows up. And it looks like she's not alone. So our Riley girls all grown up.
Yes. So, it's been 9 years.
9 long years. Grabe.
Diyos ko Mariosep.
Ano siya? BC.
9
years.
9 BC, tama.
Before COVID.
9 before COVID. Yeah.
And, anong una? Sige, let me ask you this. How was your experience watching the first Inside Out movie?
Ako personally, I really liked it a lot, yung una. Okay, I didn't love it as much as everybody else did. Hindi ko naman siya nakita parang sobrang wow, groundbreaking.
Well, majority loved it talaga.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, for them. Good for them. Pero para sa akin, para siyang, ayoko sabing simplistic. Hindi kasi yung biggest strength na nagawa niya is na i-visualize niya or nagbigay siya ng way to picture, for people to picture their mental health.
Or how their mind works.
Or how their mind works. Pero, at that point in time sa buhay natin, I'm speaking from a personal perspective here. Hindi ko na issue yung tawag dito, parang losing my connection to my childhood stuff or tethers, kumaga. Like yung kay Riley was yung kay Bing Bong. Yon, kasi I'm hearing so many people say na that was the most emotional part of the film for them. Yung parang letting go of the things that parang made or gave you a happy childhood. So, ako naman, wag na natin gawing parang maalaala mo kaya tong episode na to. Pero, hindi naman necessarily ganun yung childhood ko. So, wala akong parang mga stuff that I clutched onto even into my 20s that reminded me of my joyous 10 years old years. Wala akong ganun eh.
Okay.
Kaya, doon sa Inside Out 1, I liked it a lot. I didn't love it. Now, this one, Inside Out 2, I loved it so much. Okay? And, let's get this out of the way na lang kasi I've been hearing this conversation, or we've been having this conversation with some of our movie friends before watching this. Hindi dumaan yung real time or years from 2015 to 2024. So, in 2015, Riley was 11, yung first one, and then dito, she's 13.
So, 2 years lang.
2 years lang. And she's entering puberty. Yan. Now, what I loved about Inside Out 2 is how it depicts the more complex emotions, specifically anxiety. And I guess you're gonna say na anxiety is one of my new favorite characters here, and you're right. So siya yung pinakagusto kong bago dito. Kasi the more you get older, it's not about joy, sadness, fear, disgust, or anger eh. Yung mga ganong emotions mo are more driven by more complex stuff. So, or you become happy because of, siguro, you overcome your anxiety. Or you become mad because you're anxious about something. Yung ganun eh. Yun yung, ko dun sa una eh. Napaka parang primary colors niya ba? Dito, meron tayong secondary colors na nakikita.
Yeah.
And the way the movie handles or shows the struggle with coping with these new emotions that even us in our 30s, dala-dala pa rin natin yung ganong, sila yung parang nasa driver's seat, kumbaga. Napaka-profound niya. Ang dami mga linyahan dito na talagang sobrang, hey movie, inaaway ka ba namin? Ba't mo kami ginaganyan?
Actually, I like what you said about the colors of the basic emotions. Let's call them the basic emotions, yung first 5. Kasi it's true that they are the prime colors, kumbaga. And then the 4 new emotions that we meet, they are combination of the colors of the existing ones.
Yes.
Diba? And let's mention them. There's anxiety, envy, ennui, and embarrassment.
Ennui is what you call the boredom.
Yeah. And comparing lang din to Inside Out 1 and 2. Inside Out 1 tackles more, for me, ito yung takeaway ko doon. It's true that people really were parang affected by Bing Bong's character. Pero for me, it's more parang when you are a child, there's very simple emotions that you feel.
True.
And because of the innocence, diba? And they are really just driven by the emotions itself. Kasi wala pa silang critical thinking. They just feel. So this time around, now that Riley is a teenage girl, kumbaga, naha-hijack na yung emotions niya by these other stuff na, that's where anxiety kicks in. Parang, I love that all her emotions were shut down when anxiety arrived. Because that's basically what happens when you're anxious, diba? You can't really have a clear head kasi you're just driven with panic, with projections about all the possibilities, ganon. And it's very crippling. I loved how they depicted it in such a way na sobrang visual, and I won't look at anxiety the same way ever again.
True. I guess we can't really talk about this film without diving into spoilers. So let's just, I guess, end our non-spoilery thoughts here. Para din mabigyan natin ng heads up. In a moment, we'll get to spoilers. What did you think of Inside Out? Non-spoilers.
Okay, non-spoiler, I loved how it is more sophisticated in handling and tackling the more complex emotions of a teenage child. Pinakita niya na life is not as simple as it was when you were young. In such a way na you can explain to a little child and to an 8-year-old child, the visual representation of that alone makes it easier to understand. As an adult woman, it validates me kasi looking back, I mean, I have been there, and mas natutuwa ako na parang ma-realize na, oh my God, what I felt was normal. Parang it's very validating for adults and very informative and napaka eye-opening for children and teenagers alike. What about you? Spoiler-free.
Ako, spoiler-free is one of the best films this year. Okay? Sabihin na natin yung rating natin ngayon. It's an easy 5 stars. Easy A+ talaga. You have to see it. If you can see it again. See it as many times as you can.
We've
talaga.
seen it twice, guys.
Ako, yes, talaga. It's one of the most deceptively simple yet so hugely profound films I've ever seen. Okay? So yeah, this is not hyperbole. It's just so comforting to see a movie like this. Kasi it very much, tama kayo, sabi mo na, yung depiction of these complex emotions na we bring even to our adulthood. Na hindi siya nagsistay lang dun sa teenage years Kasi yung ennui, yung embarrassment, envy, anxiety, kadalasan sila na yung mga nakahawak dun sa console ngayon
Who knows how many more there are.
Di ba? Yun. So, go watch this and bring your kids. It's very visually...
Bring your whole family.
Your whole family, talaga.
This is very therapeutic.
Yon. Yes. So, that's it for non-spoilers. So, we're now going into spoilers. And this is your warning. Kung hindi nyo pa napapanood, stop here, go back pagkatapos. Or kung wala ka, again, wala kang pakialam, just go ahead, keep on listening. So, spoiler warning in 3, 2, 1. Okay, you're still here. So, pinakita na itong si Anxiety is siya yung, may sinabi siya na nakakatuwa na fear protects Riley from what she sees, from the things that she sees, scary stuff. And anxiety protects her from the scary stuff she can't see.
Yeah.
Doon pa lang yun pa lang yung first na parang linyahan na parang okay.
Alam mo, nakakatuwa kasi as an adult, parang ang hirap pa rin maintindihan ng konsepto ng anxiety
Yes.
Kasi nga, it's not easily defined.
Yes.
'Di ba? Parang hindi mo siya mapipinpoint ng as simple as happiness or sadness or anger, 'di ba? Hindi siya ganun kasimple. It's a combination of a lot of things. And this movie, parang na-clarify din sa akin what anxiety is. Parang in the face of a huge change in your life, yung uncertainty nun gives you anxiety. And when your anxiety kicks in, ano yung mga nangyayari in your mind, 'di ba?
And then there's, yun, tama ka dun. And then there's also the concept na pinakita din dun na ito, isa sa mga nagustuhan ko talaga, yung nag-level up yung mga visual metaphors na ginagamit nila. I don't know if we saw this. I don't remember seeing it on the first one. Yung first off, yung belief system. Yung parang based from her core memories that parang form her belief system, and then eventually, all those beliefs, they make up her sense of self.
Yes.
Yun. So, nung bata ka, sobrang basic nung sense of self mo na parang, I'm a good person. Kasi yun yung tinuturo sa atin ng bata tayo Huwag ka makipag-away sa iba, be a good person, share your toys, say please, say thank you, mag-opo ka, yung ganun. And then, as the movie goes along, and eventually, hinijak ni anxiety yung control nung mind headquarters mula kay Joy and company, padami ng padami yung memories created out of anxiety that eventually come together to form a sense of self na from being a good person, ang sabi na niya sa sarili niya is, I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
Kaya parang,
that hit me hard. Kasi
parang naalala ko lang ngayon, parang
as you grow old talaga, you are sure of yourself as a child, and then life just proves you wrong every time. And yun pa nga, yung toxic positivity nung belief system na I am a good person. So you don't allow yourself to be angry, to be upset, to be insecure, to be envious. Pero it's all part of you. There's this toxic positivity that puts all those bad things at the back of your mind. Kasi gusto mo lang makita yung maganda.
And yun yung nangyayari na ginawa ni Joy. Na ang visual metaphor is, tuwing merong bad memory na mangyayari, ihahagis niya to the back of the mind.
Which is parang sobra niyang
Parang,
counterproductive kasi she never learns from that.
Pero as adults, we still sometimes do
We
that.
do that. We do that nga. And you realize na, alam mo yun, parang yun yung mga parts ng sarili mo na ayaw mong tanggapin because you think it's bad. Pero you have to embrace all of you. You have to embrace and accept all the things about you, good and bad.
True.
Kasi it makes up your whole self. Without that, hindi ka buo.
Yeah. And yun na nga, eventually, the memories that make up her belief system, yun na nga, na talagang naging driven na lang si Riley by anxiety about wanting to be accepted, about wanting to succeed, about her anxieties over losing her friends. Yun na nga kasi mag-iiba siya ng school. Yun na nga yung details.
Yeah.
Yung para siyang Mad Libs yung details niya na yung friends are going away, yung wanting to get to the hockey team, parang wanting to be accepted by these new people. Pwede mo lang palitan yon, yung detalyeng yon, but it's still something that we go through as adults.
Yeah.
Kaya mas heartbreaking panoorin tong 2
Sobrang universal kasi niya.
Oo, na eventually umabot siya to a point na yung anxiety ni Riley, of course, the anxiety pushes her so much to the brink na pinakita ito yung pinaka-powerful na visual metaphor nun sa dulo na yung nag-anxiety attack siya. And bakit? Kasi kahit si anxiety doon, hindi na niya makontrol yung anxiety niya over not succeeding. Kaya yung part na parang na-emotional ako, naalala ko na naman yung part na bumalik silang lahat sa Mind Headquarters. Tapos,
yung umiikot na.
Tapos yung nag-whirlwind na ng anxiety dun sa console. Tapos si Joy lang yung nakapasok doon. Kasi hindi nila makuha
si... Tapos parang paralyzed na si anxiety.
Paralyzed by anxiety. Si anxiety. Tapos,
sobrang ganda nung depiction na yun, nung visual representation nun.
Diba? Tapos yung hinawakan ni anxiety, ni Joy, yung parang tinap ni anxiety, ni Joy, si anxiety na parang, hey, it's okay. Tapos kita mong naka-clutch si anxiety dun sa control, tapos naiiyak na rin siya. Yung parang, oh, God.
Even anxiety has anxiety.
Yeah. See, again, I'm getting emotional just thinking about it now. Pero yun parang siyang sobrang niyang real It's so real how parang it's so simple, yet it's so real na you sometimes there are instances where you're just paralyzed by anxiety and your actions are dictated by parang how anxious you feel about where you are in life, yung success mo, yung kung saan ka pupulutin kinabukasan, kung yung mga taong nakapaligid sa'yo parang will they still accept me the same way they accepted me today?
Yeah, yung projections.
Yun. Ay, lalo na
yung imagination land being used as a projection land. I love that part na parang anxiety is using her imagination against her.
Yun Yun pa pala kung, ay shucks, ganun ngayon, pag hindi ako makatulog.
Kung ano-anong naiisip mo na scenarios.
Masabi ko lang, merong isang lang doon. For the film nerds out there, may isang Easter egg lang doon na di ko alam kung napansin mo. Di ba na nagkakagulo na yung mga imagination, right? Artists. Tapos, may isang naghagis ng upuan doon sa screen. Para siyang yung ad ng Apple na 1984. Naalala mo yun? Yung si Big Brother, tapos yung may parang Olympian na may hawak ng sledgehammer.
Parang.
Tapos hinagis siyang ganun, tapos biglang pumunta sa screen. Easter egg lang. Para kasing, Pixar was originally owned by Apple.
Oo nga, no?
And it's an homage to an Apple advertisement. Wala lang. Yun.
Yeah.
Kaya, yun. I mean, and yung sa dulo na in-embrace nila yung lahat ng mga bad memories na tinapon ni Joy at the back of the mind, biglang nag-rushing back. Even yun, yung parang maaalala mo yung lahat ng mga ginawa mo Yung,
bigla na lang siyang parang magpa-flash before your eyes.
Na it all comes together to create her sense of self. Then,
True.
And then creates this evolving belief system na parang pwedeng, hindi lang siya a good person. Yun yung, doon na bumuluwak na yung waterworks na parang yung lumabas na, okay, I'm a good person, I'm also selfish. I'm a
Yes,
kind person, but I'm also like this. I can get angry.
But I sometimes feel like I'm not good enough.
Yun. Tapos
Yeah, you can be many things at the same time, and it's all part of you. It's all of you.
Yun. Na-embrace ng lahat ng emotions yung kanyang evolving sense of self.
Oo.
Parang siya, nakaka-validate.
Oo, napaka therapeutic.
Yung makita mo na the world, parang it's funny because the world says na you have to be this one thing lang. Always. Hindi ka na pwedeng maging parang complex individual kasi you have a quote-unquote role to play in the world.
Yeah.
Pero yung visual representation niya na parang, no, you can be so many things and that many things can be you. And you can embrace all the things that become you. Hindi siya parang, wala tayong side natin na parang hindi pwedeng maging side natin. Kasi parang, ay, baka magalit sila pag nagiging galit ako. Or baka ma-turn off yung mga tao kapag magpakita ako ng selfishness.
Hindi ka magiging kompleto kung hindi mo i-embrace and i-accept yung all parts of you, good and bad.
That is true. Yun. Parang, as an adult, it's, tama ka, therapeutic, validating na yung pinapakita niya na, yeah, all of the things, even the things that you don't like about you,
is part of you.
It's part of you. And that's what makes you you.
Okay. Ano yung mga pinaka-favorite mong mga lines?
Oh my God. Ang dami.
Pero ano yung mga pinaka-memorable sa'yo?
Memorable line?
Oo.
Memorable siya kasi hindi dahil sa parang hugot siya or what, pero yung naging reaction ng lahat ng tao nung sa advanced screening natin.
Yeah.
Sabi ni kasi andun na sila sa back of the mind. Tapos
okay.
parang nag-give up na sila. Tapos biglang sinabi ni Joy na parang, I guess that's what happens when you grow up. You have less joy. Parang lahat ng tao parang, oh God. Movie? Inaway ka ba namin? Inaano ka?
Grabe.
Mapanakit na movie. God. Ikaw, ano sa'yo?
Ako naman yung favorite part ko doon was...
Or line?
I think yung favorite line ko was when Joy finally admitted na she's delusional. Because to be that positive all the time, you have to be delusional, diba? And favorite part ko din siguro when Joy broke down finally. Parang she allowed herself not to be happy for once.
True.
And nagkaroon din siya ng parang reckoning na it's actually bad for Riley to forget the bad things that happened to her. It's not protecting her.
True.
Parang Len, kapag when we say na parang kids get coddled so much these days, 'di ba? Na parang with the parang reasoning na pinoprotect sila ng parents nila. No, you're not protecting them. They're not learning. They're not making mistakes, therefore they're not learning.
Yan.
So, kailangan magkamali ka. Kailangan din ma-realize mo yung lessons from those mistakes.
That's true.
So, that's part of who Riley is. And, yun nga, you can't be happy all the time. There's acceptance, yes. Pero yung pagiging happy and binabrush off mo palagi yung mga negative feelings mo, that's actually, yes, delusional.
Tama. Yes.
Okay. So,
I mean, yeah, we've already given our rating and recommendation for this.
Loved it so
we
much.
Loved it so much. And I can't wait to buy this on Blu-ray.
Kala ko see it again for a third time eh.
Yun na nga eh. Alam ko ngayon na. Okay, limit mo na is second na ulit. Pero ito yung sobrang rare na Disney or animated na gusto kong i-adagdag sa collection ko. Pero eto, this has a place there. And I'm excited for Inside Out 3. Alam ko hindi pa siya announced, pero alam nating lahat na magkakaroon kasi this is going to make a boatload of money. Pero yun na nga kasi mas pa dapat, mas heightened pa yung emotions pa. Pag tumanda pa siya. So parang kung ito, mapalakit na to, malamang pag tumanda pa siya.
At ma-in-love siya.
Parang fuck you movie.
Oh, mag-overdrive lahat ng emotions. Lalo na si anxiety.
Ano siya, kung dito parang sniff pa lang tayo tapos mugtumata pagkatapos, baka pagdating sa Inside Out 3, parang ng
How to Train Your Grandma.
How to Train Your Grandma. How to Make Millions Before Grandma Dies. AKA How to Train Your Grandma. AKA How to... Ayoko pa hindi ako sabihin,
wag na.
Thank you for the heads up dun sa mga ganun to our good friend Jezreel.
Ayun, hanggang ngayon medyo parang dinidecompress ko pa rin yung sarili ko dun sa ano.
So, Inside Out 2.
We really love talking about it with anyone who's seen it.
Yes, we do.
Ang sarap pagkwentuhan yung tema nung movie. And I guess that's it for the 2 main event flicks for today's episode. We now go over to our new segment, which is a newish. Actually, we've done it for about 3 times already.
Newish,
So, this is the CineGeeks post-credits picks. So, here are the films and TV shows that we also saw recently. And we'll just go over real quick as well.
Okay, so for this week's edition of the post-credits picks start, we are watching currently the first 3 episodes currently available on Disney Plus Philippines of Clipped, C-L-I-P-P-E-D, Clipped. Siya yung dramatization nung period in time when the Los Angeles Clippers were in turmoil because of the stupid shit that their former owner pulled. Yung si Donald Sterling. And this miniseries is told from the perspective of one Doc Rivers. So I was a huge fan of this iteration of the Clippers. Siguro mga 11 years ago.
Yeah, I remember.
Love City forever. Kaya nung nangyari yun, syempre lahat ng tao parang, okay, what the hell is happening? First, nung lumabas yung mga recording ni Sterling. And then number 2, yung protest nila na nangyari over their first round series with the Golden State Warriors. Again, back in 2013-ish. Tama? Oo. So, nakakatuwa kasi parang na recontextualize yung lahat ng mga events na nangyari during that period in time, in the franchise's history. We get to see parang the perspectives of the main personalities involved in the story. And by the way, this is based on the podcast by Ramona Shelburne on ESPN.
Ooh.
So, I think, let me just confirm yung pangalan niya. I think it's a Sterling Tapes ba yan? Yan. Kaya ang nangyari, yung nangyari ngayon is, pinapakita niya na, kaya ganun ka parang on his or at his wit's end. Si Doc Rivers lagi. Yung mga panahon na yun kasi para siyang sobrang na niyang punong-puno na dun sa kalokohan ng owner niya or former owner ng team. Yan, The Sterling Affairs, yung pangalan ng podcast ni Ramona Shelburne. For fans of the NBA, this is worth a watch. It's not as good as yung Winning Time nung sa HBO, yung sa Lakers naman. Pero kasi iba yung source material kasi nun dito eh. Mas parang news reporting factual itong sa Clipped. Yung doon sa Winning Time, mas more parang anecdotal.
Parang may pagka-true crime nga yung dating nito.
Doon dito. Oo, tama. 3 episodes so far. According to IMDb, it's gonna have 6 episodes. So, I'm liking what we're seeing so far and I hope it sticks the landing. Yeah.
Okay, next we have The Boys.
Yeah.
Season 4, episode 1 and 2. And we attended the special screening event of Prime Video. So thank you for the invitation. Thanks for having us. The Boys, season 4 opens where Gen V ends.
Okay.
So I love that they tied it in neatly dun sa Gen V and dun sa The Boys season 3.
Okay.
We see Homelander still his very much crazy maniacal self. Without dropping spoilers, mas medyo politically leaning na tong storyline thus far. Kasi we're following Victoria Newman and yung result ng election. And of course, all the political shiznits that's happening behind the scenes. Kasi sobrang dami. We also see Starlight as just Annie January. So she's dealing with her new life as just a civilian. She left the 7.
Okay.
Yeah. And of course, Vought scouting for new members. Kasi 4 na lang sila. And the power play that happens now that konti na lang silang parang lucky ni Homelander. He kinda gets bored with them.
Okay.
And also, ginugroom niya na rin yung anak niya, si Ryan.
To be a member. of the or to become a superhero then.
Or to be the Homelander 2.0.
Okay.
Yeah. So, ayun, maraming mga twists pa rin. And, well, I think this is not a secret naman, but Butcher's health condition is getting worse.
Oof.
And yung dynamics din ng boys. There's a new storyline for Frenchie na hindi ko in-expect. So, that is gonna be quite a shocker. Kasi nagulat ako personally. Siguro yung mga nagbabasa ng comics, hindi na kayo magugulat. Pero I was taken aback by that. I did not know na meron palang ganong element to it. And it's getting exciting. I have only seen 2 episodes, but I think 3 episodes are out now. Today. So, make sure to watch Gen V first kasi I think they will be including 2 of the characters in Gen V. Okay. So, it's really, it's important that you know them from the events of Gen V. Instrumental, sorry. Yeah. They're very instrumental to the story moving forward. So, yon, importanteng makilala mo sila dun sa Gen V and their character arc. Okay. Kasi maraming nangyari dun sa mga characters na yun sa Gen V. So, yeah. Okay, very promising. And they also announced that this is the penultimate season. Season 5 would be the last season of The Boys.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. So, be sure to watch your recap videos before seeing this one.
Okay. So, yeah, for the last film that we also saw recently, I'm gonna try to make my thoughts as concise as possible. Hopefully. We saw Fruitcake, one of the new Filipino films that came out this week as well.
Quick thoughts lang. Yeah.
I didn't like it. It's not good. Yan. Baka may masabi pa akong iba kasi yeah, we've been thoroughly discussing this interesting film with our
interesting.
friends. Interesting is putting it lightly or positively para hindi tayo ma-delist.
Why? You can say what you thought. You can say what you think, honestly. Kasi ako, honestly, I did not like it because it doesn't have a thorough line story. It doesn't have a story. It doesn't have a protagonist. Sobrang labo-labo ng kwento. Yung mga characters are all just one-dimensional. And
they're stereotypes.
They are stereotypes and they tackle very sensitive issues. Tapos, binabrush off lang nila as a punchline. So, that was very insulting to me. Ayun, medyo, I don't know. It was not very well written.
Not very well. It wasn't written at all ng maayos.
The only positive thing I can say about it was Alex Diaz and Marcos's part was quite funny. Although, I still did not like where their story arc went. Parang walang napuntahan. Tapos yung convergence nila in the end dun sa LRT was so forced.
Marcos, you mean Marcos Patterson?
Marcos Patterson,
yes.
Sobrang pilit na ipag-connect and ipagsama-sama sila dun sa LRT kahit sobrang napaka-improbable.
Alam mo yung feeling kong ginawa dito sa scene na to? One day, they were just shooting the shit and then naisip nila, parang maganda kaya no? May isang magandang sequence sa LRT. Tapos pagsama-sama natin yung characters natin. Tapos biglang may convergence of all storylines. Hindi pa nila alam kung ano yung mga storylines na yon. Pero na-visualize na nila yung ganung parang criss-cross.
So, ni-reverse engineer
nila yung kwento from that ending.
And not in a very smart way.
Oo. Kaya parang napaka-bleh.
So, sorry, but I felt so stupid after watching that movie.
Nakakabobo yung
napaka-preachy pa niya. So, I did not enjoy it.
Yeah. Don't watch it. It's not good.
We don't recommend it. Yeah. If you wanna watch it, just wait for it on streaming.
Ito, sabihin ko pa, spoil ko lang it's R16, pero there's nothing in the movie to warrant R16 except for supposedly, we thought na parang it was going to make some smart or interesting points about women's health or reproductive health. And then ang ending, parang
wala. Parang cop-out lang din. Tapos naging preachy pa.
Pray ka na lang kay Jesus para
na parang bahala na si Lord.
Bahala na si Lord.
Basically.
Fuck that shit. Anyway, yeah. So, medyo sorry naman. Medyo downer yung last natin. Pero just para iangat natin ulit. Going back, I'm so happy now as we're recording this, we saw na Inside Out 2. Okay? is actually now the third highest grossing opening day for any Disney release here in the Philippines. 88 million pesos.
Whoa!
Okay? So,
That's big.
diba?
That's huge.
Yesterday, it came out on a holiday. So, medyo may konti siyang parang leg up on the competition. Pero still, 88 million pesos is not a joke. Natalo lang siya ng Endgame tsaka ng Infinity War. And that's great company to be in. So, parang medyo na-excite naman ako dun sa prospects ng ng Deadpool and Wolverine. We were talking about this earlier with another friend of ours, si Ray, or Night of Fun on TikTok. Now, tayo na, kaya yung magiging, next na $1 billion film? Kasi wala pang $1 billion film this year eh.
Yeah, I think Dune 2 just fell a bit short.
Yeah, mga 800 million lang siya. Pero ito, I think, itong Inside Out has legs. It has rewatchability talaga.
Especially ngayon, bakasyon din dito sa Philippines.
Philippines pa.
Oo.
Tapos, mafo-FOMO lahat yan. Sasabihin ng mga tao na parang, oh my God, ang dami na nakapanood, kami na lang hindi.
And the word of mouth.
Yun.
I've been seeing a lot of memes and graphics na talagang yung right in the feels. And you know how Filipinos are.
Tsaka, ito, if there ever was a time that to use that God-forsaken meme na OA and nonchalant, ito yung pinaka-best use of it. Sige, I'll allow it for this. Kasi ito yung pinakasakto.
Pero alam mo, nape-predict ko na parang ang magiging pinaka-misused word na naman is ennui.
Is what you call the boredom. Speaking of
and by the way, we have a quiz that we shared on the Facebook group.
On Cinegeeks PHHQ.
Yeah, if you haven't taken that quiz, take the quiz to see which dominant emotion you are.
You are.
And I got ennui. You got...
Parang hindi naman totoo.
I think alam na ng Cinegeeks kung ano yan.
Yeah. Starts with letter A.
Ennui?
High five.
Sabi na eh. Sabay ba tayo?
Okay, well, that's it for today's episode.
Thank you, Anger.
So that's it for today's episode.
Yeah, show me your anger face.
Dito na ako sa script titingin. So that's it for today's episode, talking about Inside Out 2 and Hitman. If you've seen any one or both of these movies, please share with us what you thought about these films. Please comment it on our social media accounts, on our Cinegeeks PHHQ group. We'll accept your invite should you wish to join, or down below on our Spotify episode page.
And of course, again, don't forget to set your players to automatically download our new episodes so you don't miss out on our fun Cinegeek conversations. And while you're at it, give us a 5-star rating naman if you enjoyed it.
Yes.
Diba? On Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Yes.
And if you learned something new during this episode.
By the way, we'd like to thank Walt Disney Studios Philippines and Prime Video Philippines for inviting us to the special advanced screenings of Inside Out 2 and the first 2 episodes of The Boys Season 4. But as always, the studio and distributor of the film and the show weren't given any creative control or editorial approval of this episode. They are hearing our review for the first time, same as you are.
Alright. For my co-host Troy, this has been Angela. Thank you for listening to the Cinegeeks podcast, where movies, TV, and all things geek collide.